Sometimes you can be planted. And your roots, you say, man, my roots are deep. But you ain't getting nothing where you at.
Come on.
That's right.
You got to get in the place where you can be fed.
Yeah.
And when you get fed,
That's right.
you got to give God the glory for it.
Yes, that's right.
You got to pray for that. Ask God to keep that, cover that, bless that, and help that. And in this little church, I believe there's a patch of soil here that God's a pouring out a blessing. And I believe when we leave this place, I believe we're better than when we came in.
Amen.
I believe we get something. As poor a preacher as I am, I still think that God's a using it. Amen. Only He can get and do anything with me.
Come on.
Amen.
Lord knows. Amen. He could have chose a lot better person than me, but He chose me. Amen. But because I just sat there and opened up and say, God, you work through me.
Come on.
It ain't nothing I've done. It's all God.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you something. If we don't get out of the places of deadness
Yeah.
and have faith and believe God and get in some good soil,
Amen.
as Jacob said, if we stay here, we're going to die. Let us get to that place.
Yeah.
I've heard that there's land. I've heard there's corn in Egypt. Let us get to that place. Amen. And when I find that place of sustenance, amen, I'm going to give God the glory.
Amen. Yeah.
Amen.
I appreciate you this morning.
That's God.
Closing up, there's corn in Egypt. He said, go down there and buy for us that we may live and not die.
Amen.
Jesus said, I've come that you may have life
Yeah.
and have it more abundantly. I've come that you may have life
Yeah.
and that life more abundantly. Ain't it an honor and a privilege this morning?
Amen.
Amen. To feel the hand of God
Hallelujah.
move in your heart.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you something. It ain't me. It ain't me. But you can't feel that everywhere.
That's right. Amen.
I've been to too many places where even me, the preacher, amen, could not feel the Spirit of God move. There was no liberty.
Right.
And I said, Lord, help me. I finna have to get up there and preach. And God had poured on me. That little cartoon where that little character walks around and the cloud's just on him. That's the way I felt. Whole church full of folk. Everybody,
That's God.
bless me if you can. I'm like, Lord, put that cloud on all of them. He said, I can't do that with them either.
That's God.
You know, I had a strange thought the other day. I'm through. For all you want to know. But I had a strange thought the other day. It kind of caught me off guard. I said, you know, God, I want you to do this for this person. And my heart's really been for the lost in this community because there's so many good people that I know, but they don't know the Lord.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, I really want you to get a hold of this one, get a hold of that one. And God, you know, we got people in our church that are praying, been praying for years and years and years for their families and for love. God, I just, you know, reach out there and get a hold of them. I want that so bad. And the thought come to me, when does what I want as a child of God, He says I can have what I ask for. But when does that run into the place of a person's right to decide? You ever thought about that? As a child of God, I can have whatever, you know, when I go, as long as it's in the will of God. And I believe in the will of God is for men and women to be saved.
Amen.
But at what point does what I want override that person's free will? God began to show me. He says, I've never forced a woman.
Amen.
That's right.
I've never forced a woman. I grew a little bit that morning. I learned something. And he told me, he said, but you don't quit praying. He said, because I know every one of them by name.
Amen.
And he said, I know where every one of them is.
Amen.
And whenever he told me he knew every one of them, he was telling me he knew where your children was at.
Amen.
He knew where your moms and dads were at. He knew every prayer that you had ever prayed for
Amen.
somebody else that's not saved today. And he said, you want that. You want that with everything in your heart. And he says, as a child of mine, he says, I want to give it to you. But I can't override their freedom. I can't make him or her come in.
Amen.
But he said, you don't give up. You know why? Because he said, we don't grow weary in well-doing.
Amen.
But in, what's that next word? In due season.
Yeah. Amen.
In due season, you shall reap. There's a day coming.
Yeah.
For all you mamas and all you daddies that's been praying, there's a due season.
Yes.
And God said, I've not. Amen. I've got every one of those prayers. I've got every one of them. And in due season, it'll be poured out.
Amen.
Amen. Just a little encouragement for you.
Hallelujah.
Sometimes the Lord talks to us about things we're not expecting. Love each one of you this morning. Appreciate you. I hope when we leave here, we can say it was good to be in God's house.
Hallelujah.
Amen. As you leave to go get the natural food, we all will. There ain't nothing better than getting some good groceries. Good groceries. It's got what the body needs.
Amen.
Did you know if you don't eat this week, by next week you're going to be weak?
Amen.
You're going to be pitiful, poor, drugged down, wore down. You ain't going to feel good. You probably ain't going to look good. Tired. I mean, if you don't eat, you don't fill this body up, you're going to be in trouble, ain't you?
Amen.
Same way with the spiritual. You got to get something in the house of God.
Amen.
It's important that you get something here. Not just be here, but get something when you come here.
Amen.
Because when you leave, it'll be depleted. Come back and be with us in the Lap Hall tonight.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. We confirm that. Looking forward to just a wonderful service. Be with us if you can. If not, Wednesday night, Lord willing, 7 o'clock, we'll be here.
Amen.
Looking forward to that. Don't forget about our sing coming up. Not this Saturday night, but next Saturday night. Airline's going to be with us. They've had numerous records and hits on, a lot of you've heard them on Southern Gospel radio stations all across the land. They've traveled and have toured and some of the best singing and some of the most anointed singing that you'll ever hear. They're going to be with us. It's a privilege for them to be here, to come down through this way and to be with us, and we look forward to that. And so come be with us. Invite somebody to come if you know of anybody, and we just look forward to that. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday. Looking forward to that. Did you have anything?
Yes, I'd like to keep